Tuesday and welcome to Flipping with Cris Oviedo, a new space where we flip our mindset around real estate investing and we learn all the secrets, all the strategies, and all the tips on how to be successful real estate investors from top experts in the field. My name is Cris Oviedo and I am really excited to be sharing this space with you today. Our first guest is an immigrant who came with his family to this country with nothing more than $100 in their pockets. Then he went from being a refugee and living in a camp in California to owning a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house with a floating basement for 8 people, to later becoming a successful realtor, consistently making over $1 million every year, to now, where he's a wealthy individual who thrives in real estate investing. He owns a portfolio of over $100 million, and he is committed to passing his knowledge to others who also want to leave a legacy of wealth. It is really an honor to welcome Thach Nguyen here to our first show. Thach, welcome. I am so glad that you're here with me today. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
You know, that introduction sounds really amazing, but it's not the same when someone else tells you. So I want you to tell us your story, and I want you to tell us how you arrived to this country and what inspired you to go into real estate.
Yeah. So, when I was about 5 years old, my dad worked for the U.S. military in Vietnam as a translator. And then he got a phone call from his boss, and they found out that the Vietnamese communists was going to invade South Vietnam and take over South Vietnam in 1975. And I was about 5 years old. And so my dad called home and told my mom, hey, the U.S. troop is pulling out. They told us we should leave with them. Otherwise, we're going to get killed, because since I work for the U.S. government. And so my dad told my mom, just pack up what we got, whatever money we got, and I'm going to come home and get you. And I was about 5 years old, and I have 4 brothers. My mom was, pregnant with my sister at the time. She was 29 years old. My dad was like 31 years old. And we had all our belongings in one suitcase. And we had like $100. And my dad came this up, and we headed out towards the airport to try to catch the last plane out of Vietnam, which is the military plane. And we missed that one plane. Thank God that the boss, there were some other people that didn't make it out. So they had one more plane to come in. And then we left out of that last plane out of Vietnam, and we landed in San Diego. And that's where they made the Camp Pennington, the barracks and the homeless shelter for all the Vietnamese refugees that came from Vietnam. And San Diego was one of them. Houston was one of them, another destination. Virginia was one of them. And that's why there's so many Vietnamese people in Houston, SoCal, and Virginia. And we stayed in Camp Pennington for about a month or two. And then we got transferred up to Seattle, and we stayed in another military camp up there, Camp Murray, for a few months. And then there was a gentleman that basically worked in the shelter there, decided to sponsor our family to leave the shelter and live with him and his mom. Otherwise, you cannot leave the shelter unless someone is sponsoring you. So Charles Zettler was a lifesaver for us, and he took us out, and we lived with him and his mom for about probably almost a year until we found our own place over here in South Seattle, where we started our journey in Seattle.
It's amazing, and the story of many of us, because I'm an immigrant myself. I came from Ecuador, is where I came from, and we all come here for different reasons. We all come here in different ways, right? For different reasons. Your story is amazing, and then to know that you went from escaping, from evacuating, running away, family of 8, $100, right, in your pocket, trying to figure it out, to then decide to become a realtor, to then decide to start, in real estate career, investing in real estate. What happened? How did you go from, living in that little house of 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, the floating basement, 8 people, to becoming a real estate agent who was consistently producing over $1 million?
Yeah. So when I graduated from high school in 1988, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do in my life. My 2 older brothers got into the aviation business. One was a pilot, one was a mechanic. And I wasn't super clear on what I wanted to do. And so my older brother decided to be a mechanic and went and fixed aviation airplanes. So as he was going to school, I was like, I was about 3 years behind him. And so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go to aviation school and get my A&P mechanic license. And maybe I just go and fix airplanes just like my older brother. Well, by the time he graduated, 3 years later, I graduated in 1991, right? I got my A&P mechanic license. I was eligible to go get a job working at an airline company, fixing airplane. And they wanted me to leave Seattle if I wanted a job to go to Denver and fix aviation airplane out there for Alaska Airline. But I wasn't really inspired. That was not my calling. And I was resisting going, and I was living with my mom and dad at the time. And so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to prolong it. And at that time, I was parking car at a Chinese restaurant and working at a body shop and working at a grocery store. And when I was parking car, my friend Linda, who was the daughter of the owner, they were down there working on the weekend with me, and she was studying for her real estate license. And she was telling me, you should go get your real estate license. You should do it with me. We can make a lot of money, right? You get 6%, 7%. And, I think you do well. You got a good mouthpiece. And I decided, you know what? I mean, 6% on a house, 7%, that sounds pretty good. $7,000, that's a lot of money. And so I didn't know what I didn't know. So I was like, okay. So I went and got my real estate license. I passed. And the only reason why I even did it because I just wanted to go make some money. I didn't know nothing about real estate. I didn't even understand the process of buying a house. I didn't understand the process of owning a house. I just know my mom and dad own a house. And I just wanted to go in there. So if I can sell $100,000 a house, I can make $7,000. I do it because I wanted to make some money. And I got my license and I got my office, and I was 21 years old. I was the youngest agent, but I was clueless. I was sitting in the office every day doing nothing. I'm thinking, what the hell am I supposed to do? And I was just really lost. And that's how I got into real estate. For the first few years, I was lost.
Thach, what you're speaking about is the power of connections. And here at Unidos, that's one thing that we always talk about. We always talk about the power of connecting with the right people. This friend of yours, without knowing, changed your life, right? That advice that she told you, hey, I'm taking this class, why didn't you take it? And I know you did it because it sounded like a good deal. It sounded like good money, but you were smart, right? You just talked about you were lost at the beginning. And that's how most of us feel when we start something new, that we're lost. And I know that a lot of people watching, maybe they're just starting in investing. Maybe some of you are seasoned, but you're maybe stuck and you've reached a limit and you don't know where else to go, right? And that's why we're having these conversations, because making those connections like with Thach right now, right? The people who have taken it to the highest levels. He went from being a realtor to becoming an investor, a successful investor. So talk to us a little bit about that, right? Like, what's that secret, right? What was that secret, or what happened once you were a realtor, you were lost?
Right.
What got ignited? How did you turn that into not just a real estate career, but a real estate investing, a successful real estate investing career?
Right. That's a good question. When I started selling real estate, my only focus at the time was just to make money. And I was out there hustling. I was doing like 100 doors a day, 5 days a week for like 10 years, just going out there trying to get commission checks. And I started in 91. I was sitting around for 3 years, and I really started in 94 when I started understanding. I just wanted to go out there and try to find listings and buyers to work with. And I did that for like 5 straight years. And I started making like $700,000, $800,000 a year being a realtor. But I was going after the commission check. I was thinking small, and I wasn't even realizing it until my mentor said to me, if you want to be rich, you can go ahead and work for commission checks. If you want to actually be wealthy, you have to own the real estate. And he says, you want to own real estate. You want to own the real estate. Rent it to somebody. Let them pay it. And that money and that house will always go up in value like the tree growing in your backyard. And so I was like, wow. So he said to me, go out there, make your money selling real estate, but take the money you make, save it, and just buy as many rental properties as you can. Because 10, 20 years from now, when you get older and you start having kids, you don't want to be working all the time. You want to have the option to work if you want to work. And if the other option, you want to go out there and spend time with your kids, being out there sports, traveling with them, spending time educating them, you can do that if you actually own rental because now you're trading your money back for time, so you have more time later. But if you don't buy rental, you're going to always trade your time for money. And when you trade your time for money, you can't really stop. If you want to travel, you want to be hanging out with your kids baseball, you can't, because you're trading your time for money. So if you're smart in your 20s, that go make your money with your art, take the money and buy rental. And that was the first mindset shift that really started the wealth mindset for me versus the commission mindset.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about that, Thach, if you don't mind. So that being rich, which I know many people dream about, that being rich, but then you just talked about the difference between being rich and working for that commission. And actually, a lot of people say that when I am a business owner, I'm going to do whatever I want. And then you end up working for that business, like you just said, right? And then the difference of actually being wealthy and having that abundant life where you choose when to work, how long to work. Talk to us about that mindset shift. That's super important.
Yeah. See, everybody think that when you're poor, they all think you want to be rich, because in their mind, they think rich is having the Rolex watch, the nice house they live in, traveling, living at the 5-star hotel, right? Eating, caviar, you know what I mean? All that stuff. That's what they envision, right? And having all that. The problem is that, yes, you're trading your time to actually have that experience. But if you stop working and you stop trading your time, or I say you get off the treadmill, then can you actually keep that lifestyle going, the caviar lifestyle, right? And most people, they can't, because they're trading their time and they're running on that treadmill to actually live that caviar lifestyle. And so the problem is that if you don't have any kind of way where you can make money while you're sleeping, you're always rich and you're not wealthy. And so there's a lot of people that are rich, but they can't stop, because the moment they stop, they have to trade in their caviar lifestyle back to basically Pepsi Cola and 7-Up lifestyle. You know what I mean? And people don't want to do that. And so if they're going to work, they're going to keep running, but they hate it, because now they're in their 50 and they're still running on the treadmill, and they got ankle problem, they got knee problem, they can't run no more, but they know if they stop running, they're going to go broke. And so the wealthy lifestyle, the wealthy mindset is that when you have something like real estate, where if you don't work at all, you don't run on the treadmill, you still getting paid every single month from your rental property. And so when you have that opportunity, if you're in your 50 like me, if you don't want to work, you want to take off a month, 2 months, 3 months, and go everywhere you're going to go, it doesn't make a difference, because you're still getting money coming through the front door every single month from your rental property. And to me, wealth is when you are trading your money back for time, and you basically can work when you want to work, where you want to work in the world, whoever you want to work with. You don't have to choose to work with assholes. Only work with people you want to work with. That, to me, is true wealth and freedom. And that's what everybody wants. But they don't realize you don't have freedom when you're on the treadmill running. You only have freedom when you're off the treadmill and you're still making money while you're asleep. That's true freedom.
Right. You talked about purpose earlier. You said, I was only working for that commission check.
Yes.
And that's kind of what you just said now, right? Is working for more than that commission check, is understanding the true value of not just money, but time, which I feel is like the most valuable of all of the things that we have. Now, Thach, there are many ways to invest. There are many options out there to invest. And you chose real estate. Why real estate?
Yes, good question. My mentor taught me a long time ago, human beings always need 3 basic, he's going to call it necessity: clothes, food and water, and shelter. If you're in the shelter business, no matter if the economy is tough, people will sell their house, but they still find a place to rent to make sure there's a roof over their heads and their kids' head. When the business is thriving, people are making money. They will buy real estate. If you're an agent like me, I was making money doing that. But there's also people, when the market is good, they might not buy. They might rent temporarily for a year or two, and then they might figure out where they want to do, what they want to do, and then they'll buy something. So if you're in the rental business of housing or apartment building, when the market's up, there's always renter. When the market is down, there's even more renters. So as
Mm.
long as I'm in the essential business, right, I'm always good. Now, there's people that own like real estate, like retail and commercial. See, in the commercial space, like right now in the retail, see, when the business is good, the business will rent the retail. When business is not good, the first thing they're gonna do, they're gonna cut back on their business, and the first thing they're gonna do is cut back on their staff and cut back on their expense, and they might just get rid of their lease and work at home. And that's why the retail and the commercial space are now hurting really bad right now because of that. But the residential and the home space, right now, the economy is at 7%, 7.5%, but there's a lot of people looking for housing to rent. Because why? Because the biggest issue we have across America is affordable housing. Not enough house to buy and not enough house to rent. And so if I'm going to be in any business, I might as well be in the business where there's a lot of demand for it.
Yep, absolutely. And I completely agree with you. And here Santiago says that the great thing about real estate is that you have different ways to make money. And he thanks you for all of the great nuggets that you're giving us. What has been your because you've transitioned, right? And those of us who follow you have seen that you talk about fix and flip, you talk about wholesale, you talk about buy and hold, right?
Right.
So as someone who's looking to invest and starting maybe in this business, maybe they're wondering, Thach, what should I do? Should I wholesale? Should I buy and hold? Should I fix and flip? Like, where is it? Where is it really? How can I really achieve that freedom that you're talking about?
Yes. If you're brand new and you don't own any real estate, the first thing you should do is definitely buy a property for yourself. If you have at least 5% down, right? As a first-time home buyer, you can buy yourself a property with 5% down, and you have income. If you got income and you got consistent income, let's say that if you have consistent income, you don't own a house, and you got at least 5% down, right, in your area, you should definitely buy either a house up to a 4-unit, basically multifamily. If you buy a house, if you have the opportunity to have a house with a basement, you live upstairs, you rent the basement out, help offset your mortgage. We call that house hacking. If your area has area where you can buy duplex, triplex, fourplex, buy a duplex, triplex, fourplex, live in one of them, rent the other 2 or 3 out, and offset your mortgage so you can live there little to nothing. I would do that if I was brand new, if I had consistent income, and I have 5%. At least I will get in, because that is a good way to start. Now, if you don't have consistent income right now and you don't have the 5%, you can still learn how to go out there and find good deal, property that's off market, property that need value add. And if you can learn how to find these deal, evaluate, understand how you can actually create value in these deal, you can learn how to package the deal and sell them to other investors and get a fee for those. They call them wholesale fee. And you can learn how to do that and make money doing that until you have enough money. Now you can buy your own deal next time you find it and you start house hacking. So I would say if you have no money, wholesale to make money. If you have money, have consistent income, house hack your first deal, 5, 10, with 5% down, one house up to 4-unit, and then rinse and repeat that probably at least 2 or 3 times, right? For the first 2 or 3 years. You can do that every 9 months to 12 months, 5% down. Scale. Then after that, you have more experience. Later on, you can start scaling by putting 20% down and start going into bigger property like multifamily, ADUs, and all that kind of stuff. You start to scale your portfolio faster.
You can be a real estate investor, is what I hear, from the beginning. You don't have to own your own house yet. You can look at that house as your first investment property. And I think, Thach, that right there is already like blowing up minds, because usually we want to buy our dream house as that very first house,
Yes,
right?
no,
And I think,
don't do that.
yeah, I think that's a big mistake. And I have to be honest, I kind of like did the same thing. Instead of looking like at the deal, when I bought my first house, I was looking for the neighborhoods, for the schools, for this, for that, and the other. Looking back, now that I know a little bit more about real estate investing, I'm like, I lost so many opportunities because I was so focused on that dream home, right? So the real
let's be
dream is
honest, right? Most people at the beginning, they're gonna have enough money for their dream home anyways at the beginning. You really got honest with yourself, right? So if you're not gonna get your idea dream home, which you can't afford yet, get something that you can strategize where you can turn that into a rental later.
Yeah, no,
So
absolutely. And
I bought a rental. I bought 15 rental before I bought my dream home.
15 rentals,
Yep, 15 before I bought my dream home.
15 rentals
And that
before
wasn't
you.
my dream home. It was a dream home. It was nice. For my age, it was nice. It was almost $1 million, right? Today, I live in a really nice house, right? But I bought 15 rental before I bought my $1 million house.
Right, right.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, and that's your dream home right now, and that's something that I also have had to understand and learn myself, right? As life changes, your needs, your necessities, your dreams change, and
Right.
so you might want a bigger. Your dream home today might be a huge house because I mean, that's what you see in the movies. That's what you see in Hollywood. But
Right.
isn't the real dream to be free? Isn't the real dream to achieve
Ultimately.
what Thach was talking about, right? To be able to go where you want, when you want, to really set your schedule, to be able to go and buy the things and enjoy beautiful times with your friends and family when you want it. It's not to have a huge house that's maybe empty most of the
Listen,
time.
this is how it works. People with money, they work their ass off, right? And then they go and buy their big, giant homes, right? So they can entertain their friends. They can show their friend, look at me, I got this big house, right? And then when the kid graduate from high school, go off to college, they go, then the wife and the husband look at each other and go, this house is so quiet. It's so empty. We don't even need a house this big. And what happened? They sell the property and then they become empty nester and then they travel the world. So look, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy your big fat houses. I'm saying set yourself up so when you travel the world, you still have a lot of real estate investment property, right? And on your way there, buy yourself a nice house. But to put all your egg in this one big giant house and later on when you sell it, you only got one house, right? For me, I bought a smaller house and I just lived in some of them and I was okay with it. And I just stack. But today, I have a very nice house and I have Lamborghini, Ferrari, Rolls Royces, and I have over 100 some property. I get $100,000 a month in passive income. I get to travel, do what I want to do any single time, work with whoever I want to work with. To me, that's the ultimate end game. It's not who got the biggest house, who got the most freedom and most peace of mind.
I agree with you. And we have a question here from Anthony. He says, what if we already bought a primary residence, new construction, before having all of this knowledge?
Then keep it, Anthony. Now, go make some money and start buying some rental property ASAP.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And Thach, that was the question I had for you. What's the biggest mistake, right? Or the biggest lesson that you've
Yes.
made in your career?
Oh my God. So many. When you buy rental property, not every property is made for rental. I just did 4 video and I said, these are the worst type of houses to buy as rental property. I said, 1, never buy a very nice, expensive home for rental. Why? Because it won't cash flow unless you put down 50%. Then another one I says, never buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house that you can't add, make more bedroom, more bathroom, because depending where you live, you might pay too much for it and you can't get enough rent to even a cash flow of that little small house because you can't get no more bedroom bath. Or never buy a property that is on a busy street because it's very hard to rent those things, all right? Never buy a property on septic system before, depending where you live, because the renter never take care of the property because they don't take care of a property on septic system like an owner because they put all kind of crazy stuff down the toilet. You know what I mean? And these are some of the things. And then I realized after many years doing this, there's 4 type of real estate market. There's the A, B, C, D. The A market, what I call the affluent market. The B are the blue collar. The C is the contractor, and the D, the drug infested, run like fast, real fast. Never buy rental in A and D because you can't cash flow and you don't want, really home in a really shitty area. If you ever buy rental, buy it in the B's and the C and buy value add so you can actually get a good deal on it and you can spike the ARV. Don't buy in the A's and the D because they don't make very good sense. Now, these are a lot of things I learned owning rental property from this 35-year this life experience.
Mm-hmm. And life experience will teach you like nothing else, right?
You can read that in the book, folks. Let me tell you. Hopefully, somebody actually lived their life and give you the tips on your way owning rental so you don't have to make the mistake.
That's right. That's right. You talked about mentorship. You talked about purpose. You talked about the real dream, achieving the real dream, which is that abundant life of freedom. That's what we want. So, if you could just sum it all up for everyone, top three things that everyone who wants to invest in real estate needs to know and needs to apply and start doing today, what would
Yeah.
that be?
Number one, you have to really see the deep connection and the why, the benefit of owning rentals. Okay. There's so many benefit owning rental. Just the tax write-off is worth the rental. If you don't own rental and you are a high earner, just know that every time you make $1, you're only keeping 50 cents. Okay. Or you got to work 6 months, right, before you get paid. That's another way of looking at it. Ouch. So just that, okay, the tax benefit owning rental, all right? So you got to understand why you want to own rental, the benefit. Then number two, okay, you have to know basically how many doors, how much passive income do you really need to really get out of the rat race? Most people, they have $10,000 a month, right? They're out of the rat race. Because most people, average lifestyle isn't more than 15 grand a month, okay? How many property do you really need to get $10,000, $15,000 a month based on your rent in your area? And you'd be surprised. Most people, all they need is about 5 rental property bought and paid off, and they can set themselves up for the future freedom. 5. So know why you want to own rental. Okay. Figure out what is the number you need. How much passive income do you really need to get out of the rat race? How many doors is that? And then really focus on getting the right property and accumulate those 5 doors. And when you get those 5 doors, don't buy no more. Just start paying them off. And if you do that right now, folks, I tell you, you blink and 20 years go by, and you're going to go, I'm so thankful that I bought these 5. That's how fast time goes. Look, my kid, Russell, I remember I took him to preschool 18 years ago. First day of school. This on Saturday, he just graduated from high school 18 years later, heading to college. It was that fast. So imagine, folks, if you bought rental property, you just let the tenant pay it down, you blink, 20 years go by, and you're going to realize, man, I'm glad I bought these 5 rental properties because today I have $10 million, $20 million worth of net worth, and I pump out this much cash flow every month, and I'm debt free. I got true freedom because most Americans don't own real estate.
Mm-hmm. That's right. The dream here in the States is to own that house with a white picket fence around it, right? Whereas now we're learning that the real dream, the American dream, and really the worldwide dream is to be free. And we have an opportunity for you to come and join Thach in person right here in Maryland. And Thach, I want you to make that invitation. I want you to tell everyone to come and join us here in Maryland on June 22nd.
So if anyone you guys live anywhere near Maryland, I am flying to Maryland, okay, on June 22nd, and I'm speaking at their event. It's going to be all day, like 9 to 4. And I'm going to spend a lot of time seeing them in person. I'm going to spend a lot of time speaking to them on how to actually, accumulate 5 rental, okay, in the next 2 or 3 years, and how to find the right type of property, how to evaluate to know it's a good deal, right? How to basically, what it costs to rehab, how many doors you need to figure out, right? How to pay these property down, how to get loans on these property. I'm going to walk you through from A to Z on how to actually accumulate 5 rental property, right? So you can set yourself up, okay? So that in the future, you don't have to work anymore. You can retire yourself, retire your mom and dad, retire basically anyone in your family, and teach your kid coming up how to actually own rental property. I'm going to teach this whole process from A to Z live in Maryland, June 22nd, from like 9 to 4 out there live event. So you guys are anywhere near there, come see me speak because I don't go to the East Coast often. Here's your chance. I'll be in the East Coast.
And here's all the details that you need to know. This is our big event, Flip Your Mindset with Unidos and Thach, June 22nd from 9 a.m. until 4, right here in Maryland. You can go to unidos.com to purchase your tickets. You're going to learn all of the strategies that Thach is telling you. He's going to be right here with us. And we are so grateful, Thach, that you're coming. Before we wrap our conversation up today, just any closing thoughts, anything that you want people to remember as we, wrap our conversation up today?
Yep. First of all, I think the ticket's like $100. You guys just spend all day with me, okay? And my partner Stephanie will be there with me, so it's like super, super affordable. And this is what I want to say: if you don't find a way to make money while you're asleep, you're gonna work until you're old and die. And the sad part is, you're going to teach your kid the exact same strategy that you did, which is work until you're old and dead. And then that'll be the next generation coming up. They're going to do the same thing. And then after that generation come up, they're going to do the same thing. And they're going to teach that to the next generation. So my question to you guys is, who have the courage to break the cycle in your family and start creating some wealth in the family? I have the courage. So I'm breaking the cycle. That's why today I'm teaching this, because I want my kids to learn this so that they can understand how to do this, so they can break the cycle when they have kids. So if you guys learn this, you can break this poverty cycle in your own generation coming up. So if you don't know how to invest in real estate and you're near the East Coast, come see me so we can start this cycle, so you can learn how to invest in real estate the right way, in the right location, not the D's and the A, the B's and the C. So you guys can start learning how to do this, own rental, so you can start the generation coming through, so they don't actually have to be broke coming through. It's your opportunity, folks, to actually break the cycle. Who has the courage to break the cycle for your family? If you are, take advantage and do it now. Because if you don't do it now, you're going to get old in the blink of an eye, and the next generation coming up, they didn't learn nothing from you. So, folks, if you listen to this, you have an opportunity to make a difference. Don't screw it up. The fact that I'm here, it must be a reason why we're connecting right now. Maybe you're supposed to be at the event. Hopefully see you guys there.
Absolutely. So hopefully we'll see you here. I want to put the information up again. Tickets, like Thach said, are $100. Starts at $100. We also have 20, only 20, and actually we have about 12 left at this point. VIPs. You can be really intimate with Thach during a lunch break, where he's even going to have an special presentation for you. He's going to talk about the millionaire mindset and how to achieve that. I want to thank you, Thach, so much for being with us today, for joining me. Thank you for coming to the East Coast to be with Unidos, for connecting with us. Don't forget, everyone, to buy your tickets. I have a lot of comments here that I'm going to try to show as we are closing our conversation up. Hopefully, we'll see you all here in Maryland on June 22nd, 9 to 4. This is by the BWI airport, so it's really easy to access, really easy for all of you to join us. So, Thach, thank you. I cannot wait to meet you in person, to share all of this energy live. And with that, we are going to close our live stream. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for sharing this information, for buying your tickets. We'll see you June 22nd. Until then, I am Cris Oviedo.